Let's see what we're going to direct sow for the fall garden. Hello and welcome to Kim's Cozy Corner. I'm Kim and I am ready to finally start planting my fall garden. I have been traveling so much, I just haven't had time to get it in. And so it's actually too late for some things, but we still have plenty of time for other things. So let's talk about what we're going to plant today. Unfortunately, my travel schedule has been all over the place, only having me home for a couple of days and then leaving and home for a couple of days and leaving. And then I'll just be honest with y'all, I got lazy. I didn't feel like doing it. And then the garden wouldn't stop producing. So there's just been a lot going on this time of year. Today is September 7th and fall garden should already be in. I should have started transplants a month ago so I could transplant them into my garden. I didn't get to it. So we are only going to be able to start things that I can direct seed. And this was supposed to be, this stack of things that I have right here, this big stack was supposed to be all the different things that I was going to start for my fall garden. But since I didn't get it done, we're going to have to go through this and see what we can still plant and what we're going to have to just call it and say, maybe next year. So let's go through our little list here. Let's see, do I have these in any kind of order? Doesn't look like it. Wow, this is like all over the place. All right, so it's too late to start cabbage. So cabbage is out for me. What cabbage I have is the cabbage I already have in the garden, and I still have at least a dozen head or more of cabbage from earlier this year. So cabbage is out. Let's put it away. We can't talk about cabbage, not in September, not when my first frost date is in mid-October, I believe. And it looks like fall's coming early this year. We had a couple cold spells that really started making everything die back. So I thought we were done. And then it was 90 degrees again. And then last night it got super cold. I mean, it's not even going to get to 70 degrees today. And then next week we're back at 90. So with this crazy weather, my garden has no clue what it needs to be doing. So there are things dying back. They're calling it quits. Last year I was picking tomatoes all the way into October. I don't think that's going to be the case this year. Not that I need any more tomatoes since I've picked a ton of tomatoes. I need to get them all canned is what I need to do. But let's look here and see what we can do. So cabbage is out. I had peas here, snowbird peas. But even though that's something I could plant right now, I don't think my children are going to eat it. So I don't even want to waste the seeds. So we won't be planting snowbird. I take that back. We will plant it because Grandpa likes snowbird. So snowbird peas, sugar snap peas, snowbird. We will plant that for Grandpa. And then we absolutely are going to do this. We are going to do some herbs. I'm going to plant a few more parsley, just a few more. I don't know if I've preserved a year's supply or not, and my parsley's not looking so good behind me. So we're going to do parsley today for sure. We might not get it all done today, but we'll get parsley done today. We're going to do cilantro. I planted cilantro earlier this year. I ate it fresh, but I preserved no cilantro because it got hot so fast. So I'm going to do this slow boat cilantro as well, just in case it wants to get 90 degrees again after next week. So that's two different types of cilantro we're going to get planted today. That's today's planting. And then tons and tons of lettuce. Oh goodness, I got all kinds of lettuce here. We'll do lettuce last. My family is completely done with carrots, but carrots would be a good thing to grow this time of year. My favorite two types of carrots are St. Valerie and Corel. Those are my favorite carrots. That's what I've been growing all season long. I've harvested so many. I've put them away. I've given them away. My family's not even interested in looking at anything that's orange right now from the garden. So we're not going to plant any more carrots. I still have carrots in the garden in 2 or 3 different places. So we should be good with carrots to get us through the end of the year. I won't have a year supply of carrots, like for fresh eating, that kind of thing. But we will start carrots in the indoor growth space here, probably in the late October. We'll start them indoors. We're not going to do spinach, which is the perfect time for spinach right now. I've already planted a ton of collard greens, a ton of collard greens. They're throughout my garden. Actually, I've been growing collard greens all season long. I never stopped growing collard greens. And I got a fresh batch that's been coming in now for a solid month or more. So I'm not going to plant any more collard greens. But this champion collard green, here's a picture of champion collard green. That's an excellent collard green. This was the first year I've ever grown it, and I really did like it. My all-time favorite collard green is Morris Heading collard greens. Here's a picture of that. I don't have any seeds right now, so I can't show you that. Another collard green that I really like, or another green, I should say, that I really like, and it's a perfect time of the year to grow them, are turnip greens. And so there's several different kinds of turnip greens, right? There's the 7-top turnip green. There's the white or purple white globe, something like that, turnip green. I'm not doing any turnip greens right now because I already have them planted in the garden. So those are good to go. Another good green is mustard green. Now, I personally like the Southern Giant curled mustard green. Here's a picture of it. The packet doesn't have a picture. So here's a picture up in the corner of that one. So those are all of the greens besides lettuce that I will be growing or that I already have growing in the garden. That turnip green is called purple top white globe. Purple top white globe. It's already in the garden. I grew a ton of it in the spring. I got some planted early August, and it had a lot of good shade, so it's still in good shape, and it's coming in the garden. And we probably will find another spot for some more, just not today. And y'all, it's radish time. It is time to plant tons and tons of radish. Now, I have been growing Korean radish. It's a daikon style radish. I've been growing it all year. I grew it in the spring. I started a second batch in a little shaded area, and y'all, I'll be harvesting that in the next week or so. But Korean radish, here's a picture of it. It is a daikon radish. The other radish that I will be growing, or that I like, I should say, that I like. There are 4 different types of radish that I like. I like your early scarlet globe radish. It matures in 22 days. 22 days, that's it. And honestly, it likes a little frost. So this is a really, really good one to be growing now, all the way into probably late November for me. I am in Southwest Ohio. I am in zone 6B. And I mean, I can harvest out of my garden into really late November typically, but who knows? This crazy weather we having, I don't know what's going to happen this year. But there's the early scarlet. I'm not going to do that today. I'll do it another day because I'm kind of out of time. It's late in the day. I also like the cherry bell radish. And this is an excellent radish to put in your GreenStalk. You can put like 3 of these into each pocket of your GreenStalk. And if you don't know what a GreenStalk is, that's what this thing is behind me here, this brown thing behind me. That's a GreenStalk. And then the last 2 radish that I like, these are just a little bit bigger than your traditional size radish. There's the purple plum, and white icicle. And I will be getting those in the ground just probably tomorrow, not today, because I'm going to run completely out of time. The one type of cabbage that I can grow, even though it's late in the season, is pak choi or bok choy. Depends on where you're coming from, where it originates. Pak choi, bok choy, and I like this one right here. It's only 50, I believe 50 days. Yes, 50 days to harvest. This is one of my favorites, and I do grow this one indoors in my indoor grow space. So I do get bok choy all season long. So we will be planting this one. Another one is a different brand, but it's still pak choy or bok choy. I got this one from Harris Seeds. Let's see, how long does it take to harvest? 40 days. It's only 40 days, so there's no picture, but I just want you to see the pack. And I'll put the picture up in the corner for you. And so we will be starting some of that one as well. So I missed my chance on Napa cabbage, but pak choy is a type of cabbage and it will be delicious in the garden. All right, now let's talk about this lettuce, y'all, because that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do lettuce and herbs in this green stalk that's right behind me. So there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of types of lettuce. And I grow lettuce of all colors, all shapes, all sizes. I grow leaf lettuce. I grow heading lettuce. I grow baby lettuce. I grow it all. And so I picked out some of my favorites to grow this fall. And I will be growing lettuce all winter long in my indoor grow space. So I have a whole video playlist on my indoor grow space and my setup, my indoor grow tent, my lights, how I set everything up. It is all in my playlist for my indoor growing space or my indoor garden. So if you want to check that out, and if you want to grow with me this winter and you want to start setting up, I recommend checking out some of those videos so you can see my tent, you can see the types of containers that I'm going to use in there, the lights that I have. So if you want to check those out, please do, because we grow a ton of lettuce indoors in the winter. But the lettuce that I am going to start today include Grand Rapids. It's a leaf lettuce, Grand Rapids, 45 days to harvest. Crisp head lettuce. It's an iceberg style lettuce. Now, this one may not make a head because it says it takes 70 days to make a head. So we will pick it when it's young. We won't wait for that head to form. Since we really want that iceberg style lettuce, we are going to grow tennis ball. Now, it's more of a butterhead type lettuce. It's really small. It's cute. It's really, really cute. And they don't get really big. It gets about the size of a tennis ball. So we'll be growing that one. Pablo, which is another heading lettuce. It looks like heading lettuce is going to be big for my planting today. Now, I already have lettuce growing in several places in my garden already, but we're going to fill in some empty spots in this green stalk and one other green stalk. And I think that's it for today. Oh, no, I got to tell you about these two. Or three, oh, four. Oh, goodness, y'all. I cannot make my mind up here. All right, I got to tell you about a couple more because they are delicious, delicious. Bronze minuet, y'all. Bronze minuet. Oh, it is a beautiful lettuce. It's also a heading lettuce, but it's beautiful. 55 days to harvest, and y'all, it's delicious. Delicious, delicious. Okay, I'm putting that one in too. Yep, we're growing that one too. And then this flashy butter gem. It's a green lettuce, and it's got these little specks all over it, little red specks. And I love this lettuce. And my friends that I provide fresh vegetables to every couple of weeks or so, in the spring when I said, hey, what kind of lettuce you want? She always kept coming back to this one. This one was one of her favorites. So I do have that growing somewhere already. And then, y'all, Merlot. We got to talk about Merlot, y'all. I love my Merlot. It's a red lettuce. I already have it growing in several places, but it's one of my favorite lettuce to grow. And so, again, there's just so many options when you start talking about lettuce and the different ones you can grow. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything important. I think that's it. So that's what I'm growing from seed in September. And everything that I named is a cool season crop. Cool season crops can take a little bit of frost. They don't want it too hot. They don't want it too hot at all, but they can take a little bit of frost. And some of these things that I just talked about actually taste better after they've had a light coating of frost on them. That gets sweeter, it brings out that sweetness in it, especially in those greens. But those are the items that I'm planting between now and the next couple of days. But we're going to go ahead and start in this green stalk behind me. And let's see how much daylight I have left. And we'll see what all we get done. So now I've shared with you the different types of cool season crops that I'm going to grow this year and the ones I kind of missed the boat on, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and start changing this green stalk over. Now, you can call me crazy, but I'm always trying to grow lettuce. And if you try to grow lettuce and it's too hot, it will bolt. And that's what has happened here. Bolting or going to seed, right? Because plants just want to survive, right? They want to survive. They want to survive and they want to reproduce. So if the weather is too hot, it's not going to worry about all these pretty leaves. It's going to go ahead and try to get to some seeds. So if your lettuce start going straight up like this means it's bolting or it's going to seed. Now, once it goes to seed, y'all, it don't taste too good. Well, at least I don't think it tastes too good. It's a bit too bitter for me, and I won't eat it once it goes to seed. Now, I do have some lettuce that can handle a little more heat, and I was hoping with this green stalk right here, with the sun in the evening being so hot and going down behind that peach tree, it would get a little more protection from that hot evening sun. I was wrong, at least in this green stalk, but I found the perfect place for next year. So next year, we're not going to have any issues at all because I already know where it's going. And I've been eating lettuce out of that area all summer. It gets no evening sun. It only gets morning sun. It grew so nicely. So that will be the plan for lettuce next year. I've already made notes of it. I put the notes in my garden journal. Here's a picture of my garden journal that I use. Now, I developed this garden journal for myself. I didn't develop it to, you know, make everybody else happy. I developed it because I couldn't find a journal with the things that were important to me. So I created this journal. You can get it on Amazon if you're interested, but it's for me. So it's not for a seasoned gardener or anything like that. It's very simple for a beginner maybe, or maybe a kid's garden. But I put the notes in my journal so next year I won't forget that I'm supposed to grow all of my lettuce in the summer over next to my she shed where it gets no evening sun. Or I should say afternoon, because by noon it's done. No sun over there at all. So we're pulling out all of the bolted lettuce. One of the things that I could do is just leave the roots in there versus pulling roots and all out, but I didn't. I didn't. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and just take these out and we're going to start over. Now, there's some things that are growing really nicely in here. Y'all look at this. This right here, this is a head of celery. It is growing, it's green, it's beautiful, and it's disgusting. I hate celery. I like to season with celery. I just don't want to have to bite and chew on celery. But it's doing amazing. And then up in the top, I have basil. The basil up in the top has gone to seed. And y'all, I probably got enough basil in the house to last me at least a year, as long as my daughter doesn't come up from Georgia and talking about give me some basil. As long as she doesn't do that, we're good to go. All right. So here's, I think this is Pablo. I think that's Pablo right there coming in. Pablo is a iceberg heading lettuce, and it's got some hues of blush and reds around the outside of it. One of my favorites. And then we talked about what's up in the top, and down here, this right here is my parsley, and it's been here for a very long time, and it's starting to die back. So we're going to plant more parsley. There's a little bit there. All of this is parsley, just different types of parsley. So we're going to plant more parsley, get that going again. And that's it, y'all. We're going to get this one together. I'm going to leave the basil. We'll worry about basil another day. But if I try to use this basil now with it gone to seed like this, the stems are so hard. It's not going to taste very good. I think I got some new growth down here. Now these down here, this new growth, these will be perfectly fine. But this up here, too hard, too woody, too stemmy. All right. So I use potting mix or potting soil in all my green stalks. I am going to have to backfill some of these pockets. Some of these pockets they need some soil. So I brought over some soil right here in this bag, and I am going to put some fertilizer. So right now I'm using Miracle Grow granular fertilizer. I am out of all of my organic, and I'm not going to buy it until it goes on sale, if it goes on sale before, they're out, when they're trying to get rid of it. But this is what I have for now. And so I'm going to put a little bit in every pocket. Now that we're getting to the fall season, my liquid fertilizing is slowing way down because I'm not watering as much either. So I don't have to water every day, twice a day, because it's, 110 in the shade. So, oh goodness, way too much. Y'all, this is why you don't take the top off. All right, I think that's got it. And this is all the fertilizing this GreenStalk vertical planter will need for the rest of this season anyway. So I have the fertilizer in. Let me try to bring you in a little closer. So we are going to add a little dirt, and this dirt is very dry. I reuse all of my soil. I reuse it, I add amendments, and anything I need to add to it to put all of the needed nutrition back into the soil. So I believe this soil was used for potatoes. Actually, I know this soil was used for potatoes. And now we're going to use it in this GreenStalk. I call it spent soil, meaning I need to add nutrition back to it. And over time, you will have to add soil back to your GreenStalk because it is going to drop down. It's going to break down as well, right? Because that's what happens. The soil breaks down. And so I probably add soil to my GreenStalks maybe once during the season. It depends on what I'm growing. Let me say that. It depends on what I'm growing. So like my tomatoes, my peppers, I don't have to add any more soil to those. If I'm putting in multiple plantings, like succession planting, when I go to do that succession planting, then I will add a little bit of soil to my GreenStalks. If you're interested in a GreenStalk, I have a link below that will take you to the GreenStalk website where you can see all the different products that they have if you're interested. And my link will take you right to that website. I am an affiliate of GreenStalk, so I'll say that up front. I am an affiliate. And I also have a coupon code that you can use to get $10 off your purchase of $75 or more. And if you're interested in GreenStalks, I have a GreenStalk playlist as well. So you can see all the different stuff that you can grow in a GreenStalk. Early in the year, y'all, oh, I am so good. I write down everything that I'm planting. I'm so organized. I know how many plants I need to plant. I know when I need to put them out in the garden, right? Because I need to make sure that I get that harvest coming in as quickly as possible because I grow all of my own food. I don't buy this stuff from the grocery store. And so if I don't start that planting on time, then that means I got to buy the stuff in the store. We don't want to do that. So I make sure I keep that garden going in the basement, in my indoor grow space. I actually got a couple hydroponics as well that will be getting set up again. Now I don't grow in both places at the same time. I can't do indoors and outdoors at the same time. So I only have my indoor garden in the winter. And then once spring hits, I move everything outside. I can't hardly take care of one to try to have to take care of both. Whoo, goodness no. Oh, and I take care of the garden just behind me here, my neighbor's garden. And so between those two gardens, y'all, I ain't got time for nothing else. That's it. That's all she wrote. Should have mixed up that fertilizer when I put it in. So I'm just going to take my hand and give it a good tossing to mix that fertilizer up just a little bit. You are at Kim's Cozy Corner, and I am on a corner lot in my neighborhood, in my suburban neighborhood. And there are tons of neighbors that walk, for exercise, or they walk their pets. And so people are always talking to me when I'm in the garden, and I quite often have to stop the camera to speak to them, and they have questions and they're trying to start their own gardens and everything. And so I want people to grow their food. So I try to, make sure I'm talking to everybody and see if there's anything I can do to help. Or if they're just super interested, you never know. I might get somebody else to start growing their own food. So I definitely like to take that time out and speak to my neighbors. I've added more soil, potting soil or potting mix, and I've added the fertilizer, and now we're gonna add the seeds. And y'all, I know I'm losing light, and I don't know how much of this you can actually even see. We're gonna start on the bottom with cilantro. We're gonna put cilantro in the very bottom, and I have two different types of cilantro. I'm gonna put 3 of the one and 3 of the other. My daughter's coming to visit me, and I know she's gonna be like, where's the cilantro? Where's the salsa verde? And y'all, tomatillos, I didn't plant any this year. I still have salsa verde from tomatillos that I made last year because my family that lives in home with me, they don't eat it. And since they don't eat it, there's no use in me growing a whole bunch of tomatillos and no one's here to eat it but me. So I probably still have a year's supply. All right. And I didn't cover the seeds up yet. The way I'm going to handle that is after I get seeds in all the pockets, I'm going to go back and sprinkle just a little bit of soil on top versus mixing the seeds into the soil. I left room so I can sprinkle a little bit more on top. So now we are moving over to the parsley. And this is the triple curled parsley, and parsley is so small, y'all. Well, I might have to cover that up because I put it all in one spot. I didn't mean to do that. All right, we're going to keep moving up. Bronze minuet. I did have a couple people ask, if you are going to direct sow in your GreenStalk, how much can you put in each pocket? I typically go heavier, and then if I have too much, then I will thin it out. And as I'm thinning, I'll move it to another pocket. But it depends on what kind of lettuce you're growing. So I can't really say what's the right amount of seeds for lettuce because it depends. The answer is it depends. I have 2 more pockets here. Let's put in this flashy butter gem in these 2 pockets. I know it's growing in other places too, but I know this is a winner for my family. All right, I'm up to the next level. We are going to do, I don't think I told you about this one earlier, crisp mint. It's a romaine lettuce, and y'all, it's good. I mean, it's really, really good. Trying to put a little bit of everything. Y'all, something was crawling on me. Whoo-wee! That wouldn't have been good. I'd have been gone. I'd be like, where did Kim go? Camera's still running and Kim gone. All right, we're up to the last level that we're gonna do, and it looks like I have 4 pockets. 4 pockets to work with. Oh my goodness, that means I gotta pick and choose. But I don't wanna pick and choose. I want it all. It's gonna do this Grand Rapids. So the Grand Rapids and the tennis ball. So we'll do 2 pockets of each. Grand Rapids is a leaf lettuce. And for leaf lettuce, I will plant that kind of thick because I'm going to pick it when there are smaller leaves. Tennis ball is a very, very small heading lettuce. I think I did grow 3 per pocket earlier in the season when I grew it. Now, I have had people ask me, do your GreenStalks do better with transplants or direct sow? And I've done both. I personally feel that transplants do better, but if you have to direct sow, it's not bad. You just have to make sure you put the right number in, thin them out, that kind of stuff. I prefer to transplant, but when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade with what you got, right? So this is where I am. All of the pockets are full. Now we're going to come back and put a little bit of soil on top of everything that we just planted. And just a little bit, because you want to follow the directions on your seed pack. And this seed pack says plant 1/4 of an inch deep. I think all of these are going to be 1/4 of an inch. Always follow the directions on your seed pack. Always follow the directions. If you plant it a little too deep, usually they'll grow anyway. I mean, you can't grow it, plant it like 6 inches deep and it needed 1/4 of an inch. That's a different story. But if you plant them a little too deep, maybe a 1/2 inch versus 1/4 inch, y'all, it'll grow anyway. They want to grow. Your plants want to grow. They will do everything in their power to grow. So don't get too concerned about the 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, that kind of thing. Now, again, 6 inches is too much. When I am direct sowing in my GreenStalk, I will water each pocket because your GreenStalk, when you water from the top, it's going to drip into every pocket. It waters evenly. Absolutely, it does. So let me be clear. It does water evenly as long as you have it level. You don't let dirt and debris get inside. It will water the way it's supposed to water. But when you start from seeds, your seeds don't have any, roots. It doesn't have any little legs to go down and get that water yet. And since it can't go down and get the water out the pocket, I like to water just the top of each of the pockets until they germinate. Once they germinate, I don't worry about that. But until they germinate, I will water each pocket. All of the pockets are taken care of. And y'all, I think lettuce is the most beautiful thing, besides peppers, that you can grow in your GreenStalk. Here's a picture of my absolute favorite GreenStalk full of lettuce this year. I mean, isn't it beautiful? Look at all the different colors of lettuce. There's red lettuce, there's green lettuce, there's brassicas in here. I mean, there's kale in here. I mean, it's just a beautiful GreenStalk. And that's kind of like my pride and joy. So when anybody says, you know, what does your GreenStalk look like? Well, when you're in between, you know, your succession planting, it could look like this right here. But when everything is coming in at the same time, it's just gorgeous, gorgeous. But you can just grow so many different things in your GreenStalks. We're gonna water each of the pockets. Now, I had already watered this GreenStalk this morning from the top all the way down to the bottom, right? So the pockets down low are nice and moist. They're doing well, but I added soil to the top that's super dry, and we just put seeds in. So we're gonna water each pocket when I find my hose. We are going to start with the second row down because I've already watered everything else in. So we got it on shower. We're gonna lightly water each pocket. And again, I'm gonna do this every day until they germinate. And I'm trying to lightly water so that I don't spray the seeds all over the place. I don't want to put it on like jet and the seeds go flying all over the place and now the seeds are not where I put them. One of the other things you probably noticed is that when I put the water or when I put the soil, the potting mix into the pocket, I went back and gave it a little pat just to kind of settle those seeds down into the pockets that I put them in. Yeah, this GreenStalk is finished. We've replanted everything. We got herbs in the bottom, and then we got 3 tiers of multiple kinds of lettuce. And so we will be eating lettuce out of here, hopefully in a little over a month. But until then, and probably less than that, right? Because I'm going to pick it young. But until then, we will watch it grow. I hope you enjoyed this video to see what I'm direct sowing in September, as well as how I'm setting up a GreenStalk in September. So if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. And until next time, and I hope there will be a next time that you hang out with me, Kim, at Kim's Cozy Corner. Bye.